Is it fair to compare modern anti-Muslim propagandists to Hitler's arch rabble-rouser and Jew-baiter? Julius Streicher was a Nazi Party member from the beginning in post-World War I Germany. He was also the editor of Der Sturmer, an anti-Semitic propaganda tabloid, and a Gaoleiter, a regional official once Hitler came to power. Hated for his vindictiveness and uncouth manner even by his fellow Nazis, Streicher dedicated his publication to disseminating libellous slurs towards Jews, trades unionists, socialists and all who opposed Nazi ideology. He incited hatred and violence and was instrumental in fueling the intense prejudice against innocent German Jews that contributed to the horrors of Kristallnacht and the atrocity of the Holocaust. He was hanged at Nuremberg for his crimes against humanity in 1946. Streicher used exaggeration, generalization, misidentification and base hatred to whip German society into a frenzy of hostility. He wrote, "A people that does not protect its racial purity will perish. It is written in the Jewish law book, the Talmud, that only the Jew is human, that Gentiles are only animals. Germans must fight Jews, that organized body of world criminals. Do you not know that the God of the Old Testament orders the Jews to consume and enslave the peoples of the earth?" Not that anyone would consider doing such a thing today, would they? Katie Hopkins is renowned for using her social media presence, her newspaper column and her radio and television appearances to spread lies, hatred, exaggeration and generalization in an effort to whip up hatred against Muslims and immigrants, just as Streicher did against the Jews. Katie Hopkins' quotes include, "On Palestinians, filthy rodents burying beneath Israel. Time to restart the bombing campaign." On Muslim refugees, whom she almost invariably describes as migrants to trivialize their plight. "Rescue boats, I'd use gunships to stop migrants." Make no mistake, these migrants are like cockroaches. It's interesting that the Rwandan ethnic cleansing tragedy saw the minority population routinely described as cockroaches just before the majority rose up and slaughtered them. In fact, Hopkins' attempt to liken desperate people to cockroaches in a regular column for The Sun saw the United Nations High Commissioner on Human Rights single her out for special criticism back in 2015. This Hopkins' tweet left us in no doubt about her prejudices, even though the incidents she mentions had nothing to do with Islamic terrorism. Explosion in France, shooting at a general hospital, knife attack in London, and Ramadan has not yet begun. Without food, these sods get nasty. Across the Atlantic, Steve Bannon used these same techniques and prejudices so effectively, he used the alt-right Breitbart media machine to get a 70-year-old vindictive, narcissistic, overgrown child elected into the White House. Just as Streicher used the media of his day to commit and incite crimes against humanity, so Hopkins and Bannon do the same with the media opportunities of today. Less prolifically but equally dangerous are the likes of Boris Johnson, who cynically jumps on the discriminatory bandwagon because he thinks it'll get him a few votes. Boris Johnson quotes include, "Islam is the problem is Islam." To any non-Muslim reader of the Quran, Islamophobia, fear of Islam, seems a natural reaction, and indeed exactly what that text is intended to provoke. Judged purely on its scripture, to say nothing of what is preached in the mosques, it is the most viciously sectarian of all religions in its heartlessness towards unbelievers. Theresa May's hostile environment and her treatment of perfectly law-abiding EU citizens is less graphic in its rhetoric, but equally discriminatory and dangerous in its effect. British newspapers have jumped on the same bandwagon, routinely publishing headlines and articles that would have been unthinkable in this country just a few years ago. The similarities between Streicher's Der Sturmer and some of our domestic tabloids are both striking and terrifying. Is it any wonder, then, that hatred against foreigners and Muslims is rising across the West? Hate crimes are still rising here in UK, proving that the idea of a post-referendum spike was false. There is a sustained hostility towards immigrants and Muslims, nurtured by regular xenophobic slanders from these modern-day strikers. I would never advocate hanging these propaganda merchants, as happened to Streicher, but I do wonder how much more Western societies can take before we have to start prosecuting them for incitement to violence. Freedom of speech is one thing, but deceptive incitement to commit violence has never been protected by free speech in any modern civilization, not even America, a nation that probably enjoys the laxest free speech laws of all. I say we need to stop winking at these hate-mongers and start prosecuting them. After all, it's not as if we don't know where this sort of publicised hatred leads, is it? I'm Stuart Sorensen, and this is Left Eye View. If you found this video interesting, please click on the little I subscribe icon that's on your screen right now. And while you're at it, please like and share this video. It'll really help me get this brand new leftist channel off the ground. Thank you very much.